world of YouTube. True crime or tale for sight. I really get agitated when I see stuff like this come up. Really get agitated. Because not only is one of my favorite bands always getting looked at for something that fueled people with drugs, alcohol, and whatever down and out life they had at the time, got to accuse the band for their loss. I'm sorry. I've been listening to heavy metal music since the age of 5. Since my first time hearing the mighty Black Sabbath from my brother's room, title track Black Sabbath, and being amazed and just wondering at that age, wow, what is that music? You know, if people take the time to sit and learn, or better yet, sit and read the lyrics of music. Yes, don't get me wrong, there are some bands that formed and totally went satanic. But to me, you know, them people are very stupid, very ignorant and dumb, not bright in my books. But bands like Judas Priest, Iron Maiden, Ozzy Osbourne, you know, Black Sabbath, AC/DC, the list goes on and on and on. And to me, them are the top, you know, storytelling bands that people get confused with. Even Alice Cooper gets confused. These bands, and I like to say this all the time, wrote a story, wrote music about something, not for something, not for satanic rituals. Even Slayer is misunderstood. Even though you see the horrific devil pentagrams, you know, every little devilish thing you can think of, Slayer is not a satanical band. They do, just like every other band tell a tale, tell a story. Especially one of the most popular songs out there by Slayer, Angel of Death. And now that, of course, telling the tale, instead of writing in books, bands wrote it in music. And because the idiotic world of some people that want to make this music look bad just like they're bad, right, it ruins the whole entirety of the song itself. Angel of Death is about the butcher of a Nazi from the Nazis, Adolf Hitler, out there butchering people back in the day in World War I. That's a story, a tale. You read the lyrics. You listen to the lyrics if you can understand them. If not, you read them. And that's all the song is about. It teaches you. It's history. Especially Judas Priest has a lot of told tale songs. And this song, Stained Glass album, Better by You, Better Than Me, the song. I've listened to that song thousands of times. When I was introduced to Judas Priest in 1982, first song I ever heard was Breaking the Law. And, yeah, it was mind-blowing, just like Black Sabbath when I first heard it, mind-blowing. Eddie Van Halen, mind-blowing. I got to dig this stuff. I got to get into this stuff. And for people to ruin it and bring it to court like these two men, as you can see, 18, 20 years old, living in Reno, Nevada, shot themselves with a shotgun after a night of drinking drugs and listening to heavy metal. Belknap died at the scene while Vance's passed 3 months later. This is just like Suicide Solution with Ozzy Osbourne, and he states and claims very, very, clearly that song was written for Bon Scott. Bon Scott died of alcoholism. In other terms, they say he did. I think he was murdered, but and that song was written of him. He was a very heavy drinker. But if you go into the Bon Scott story on my channel, and I show you the tales of whatever that, whatever was going around at that time, I think he was murdered, not alcohol. Drunk, passed out, died. But that song led to suicide to kids. When you're on drugs, and I know damn well because I never took heavy drugs, but I lived with people around me all my life that took that crap. And the things they would do, thinking the room was a bathroom and peeing right there on a dresser. The things you do, hallucinate, see, hear, it's disgusting. It's insane what becomes of a person's mind being on drugs. Of course, famous murders, a lot of people on drugs, alcoholism. Why? Because their brain ain't right. And when you add that chemicals to the brain that ain't right, it makes it more not right. It makes it a psychedelic, hypnotism, sickening, disgusting pool of swirling mud and makes you do the dumbest things. Of course, my 17 years of drunkenness led me to do some stupid things that, oh man, I am not proud of. And some of them I'm really embarrassed of. But for people to keep saying this song led to a suicide is BS. I'm sick of listening to that. And they sat there and privately thinking, did we give a subliminal message? No, you did not. Because if you did, I would have been dead because I'm labeled as a suicidal person. You have to bear with me. I'll be back. To pause a moment. True crime whatever site. Had to merge videos today because I had to stop what I was doing on the last video. But today we're talking about Judas Priest and how this article I found today talking about wondered privately if band was guilty of subliminal messaging. And being a true Judas Priest fan to the grave, and where I left off earlier about talking about how I had some suicidal issues when I was younger. And I guarantee you there was no music in the world that I listened to that would make me want to effing kill myself. If I was going to kill myself, it was due to the depression I was going through at that time. And one summer I did have a rough teenage year because of the fact of friends that I hung around with all got girlfriends. And I literally didn't have one, but they did. And it just, the time we spent together just stopped. It wasn't happening like it used to be. And that being said, I did lead a dark time in my life and was literally right thinking of, or even tried. I mean, it's just something happened at the point of impact that I was going to take my life, because it was like a voice screamed in my head, no, don't do this type thing. And, you know, it just happened to be my wake-up call. But I can almost guarantee you that I was never ever thinking of committing suicide due to music. No way in hell, man. There's no song out there that makes me that depressed and want to kill myself. And due to, like I was saying earlier about this case, due to the fact that drugs and alcohol and mixed, you know, that leads anybody to a mind of a delusion, sickness, and pure stupidity. Alcohol is a potion that twists the mind. Drugs are friggin' another antidote that just, you know, leaves you in a world of disgusting thoughts. And for Judas Priest, the band itself, to even think that they caused someone's death is just, you know, ludicrous. For them to even think of being guilty. You know, Rob Halford never did drugs, right? I mean, I don't think he drank either. And it left this man with the voice of the heavy metal gods to, you know, be what he was meant to be. A singer of great talent, legendary vocals. And other people, you know, just did what they did. And, you know, I hate to use it, but Ozzy Osbourne did every drug under the sun. And, bear with me. And by the way, I thought I'd show everybody my terrible sight of storm coming in. Oh my God, who ordered this crap? But anyways, like I was saying, Ozzy Osbourne, you know, did everything under the sun, and literally, right, just did some insane, intense things, man. You know, even almost led to the, you know, him trying to kill his wife. And that ain't the Ozzy I know, man. I mean, that poor bastard, just doing what he's done in the past is just insane, right? Because he was on drugs and alcohol. But, in this case, you know, you can't blame a band for, that's like blaming AC/DC for the goddamn Night Stalker, because they had a song, oh, Night Prowler, and he wore an AC/DC hat to one of his murders. And for people, whoever put that in there, to just take the song for what it was back in the day, and I heard the interview on that song out of Brian Johnson's mouth, his own mouth, and I even got a video up on that, if you want to check that out, of what he said. Of course, it's Night Prowler, AC/DC Night Prowler song. You should type that in and it should come up, but he said something that was like, wow. And that stupid bastard Ramirez, or whatever his name was, little friggin' thinking he's the devil, Satanism, crap, bullshit, idiot, moron. I would have loved to step in the cell with that man. Show him who's a real man. But yeah, that song was tarnished because of that piece of shit. Now this song, Better by You, Better Than Me, which to me, when I listened to it, and when I heard this story come out, when it did come out, I went in my room and I played that song over 100 times. And I'm still standing to this day. And it just sickens me to even think the band could sit there and thinking they were guilty because of, someone's careless acts of life. You want to pick up them drugs, you want to pick up them that alcohol, you're bringing on the repercussion to yourself. You're bringing on all the change in your life, all the trouble and all the stuff that you're going to do on yourself. You do it to yourself. And you can't blame these bands and all that because, don't get me wrong, there have been bands, like I said in the beginning of this video, that do worship Satan, do things to try and, turn the record backwards and blah, 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 give you subliminal messages. But I guarantee you Judas Priest is not one of it. One of them, neither is Ozzy or anybody else has been convicted of this type of crime as a band. The stats prove that Judas Priest is just a heavy metal band with stories behind their music like a band should be. None of this satanic ritual, kill yourself now type friggin' scenario, It's just sick. It's sick. It's sick to even think they could even sit there and think on that upon themselves, to me, in my eyes. But I just wanted to share this story because stuff like this, man, and I grew up on this band, like I said, since 1982, and I'm still kicking and alive. If it wasn't for music today of my time, I would be dead. I would have probably committed suicide. But no, because this music kept me alive. Me, what I did in my time, and my thoughts, and, everything that I grew up out of and had to put everything and pound it in the past in the back of my head and just throw that nonsense away. I pulled through. And it was like and for these bands that helped me to my point. If it wasn't for music is the second biggest thing in my life, man. And I'm working on some new lyrics on a new song. But I do have some other lyrics up if you want to check them out. But yeah, if it wasn't for music, I wouldn't be here. If it wasn't for my family now, I wouldn't have had a family without music. That kept me going. So if Judas Priest ever gets this message, I want you all to know, and I can't, I wish the drummer was still alive for him to hear this too, but you're probably one of the biggest bands in my life right now that I can honestly say that has kept me alive. If it wasn't for Judas Priest and bands like Ozzy, to Black Sabbath, to Dio, to everybody, Pantera, everybody, Rat, the list goes on, man. I wouldn't be here right now. Wouldn't be here. You guys kept the fire lit in me. You inspired me to pick up a guitar, and even if I didn't get into that band I wanted with my friends, at least I know I can pick it up and still, fart around with it, come up with some stuff, write my lyrics that I like to write, because I love to write when I get the chance and put things together in words, even though it ain't in a band, but I can throw it right up on here, share my thoughts. And Judas Priest, I want to thank you highly and respect. You guys really kept me motivated and life worth living. Thank you, Judas Priest. Until that next video, everybody be safe, take care. Suicide is not the answer, people. If you feel it, hell, give me a comment. I can try and pull you out. We'll get you out of that mess. Or call the suicide hotline. Don't do it. It's not worth it. The pain you suffer, or the pain your surviving people suffer, is the worst pain that you could ever feel, that you're feeling right now, to kill yourself. Don't do it. It's not the answer. More pain you will create than what you feel now. Be safe, everybody. Take care. Out.